Hello and welcome to the Auto Loons YouTube channel where we're back with another episode of Small Cars, Small Reviews. Today's episode is all about the Subaru WRX. The WRX is an iconic figure in rally racing, and over the generations, each one has been offered in a hardcore STi version for the average road user. However, the Japanese carmaker recently announced that the latest WRX will not be getting an STi variant. It's the end of the rally yobo as we know it. In memory of the Subi icon, we're doing a quick run through of some of its most memorable versions in the form of Hot Wheels diecast models. Subaru's formula for a rally spec race car was pretty straightforward. Take a short wheelbase 4-door with all-wheel drive and a boxer engine and modify it for rally purposes. The Impreza served as the base for the original WRX series, wherein WRX stands for World Rally Experimental. In 1994, Subaru completed its first full season in WRC, which it won with Colin McRae as the driver. They then went on to win the championship for another 2 years running. And to celebrate their hat trick, Subaru brought out the first super special WRX in 1998, the Impreza 22B STi. There's been no official statement where it was called the 22B and not the Subaru Impreza WRX STi. Yes, this model is still in its card, even though it's a standard mainline model, because it's one of the best mainline models I've seen in a long time, because it has the iconic Subaru blue with the gold rims that are immediately identifiable with the 22B STi. Look at how gorgeous this casting is. As of now, I'm keeping this nice and packed with this lovely card art of the original 22B STi and this gorgeous model as well. A little bit about the 22B STi actually. Subaru increased the displacement of the engine from 2 liters to 2.2 liters, and the official output was rated at around 276 brake horsepower and 363 newton-meters of torque, and of course it had a manual shifter. With a bunch of bespoke WRC inspired panels such as the hood scoop, the wing, the wider fenders, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and specialist components like the built-in suspension. Only 424 were made, 400 of them for Japan, the other 24 for export, I think, maybe a few more for export. That was the highlight of the original Subaru Impreza STIs. With that, we will move on to the next somewhat legendary WRX STi, the second generation Impreza WRX STi, the most easily identifiable iteration of the Subaru Impreza WRX, and therefore commonly known as the Bug-Eye, arrived in 2000, at least the STi version. It's a lot bigger than the original Impreza because this one does have proper 4-door setup, and followed the similar formula, which is all-wheel drive and a boxer engine. This time there were kind of like 2 engines for the WRX STIs. The Japanese version got the 2-liter boxer engine, which is basically a turbocharged 4-pot, known as the EJ20, which had an output of 315 horsepower and 384 newton-meters of torque. The export markets got a 2.5-liter engine, which had a similar kind of performance. Once again, the STi was limited to 400 units. We also have the second version of the second gen STi, which is a facelift, which kind of got rid of the Bug-Eyes and made it a prettier car overall. There were minor updates to the performance, and while the power remained the same, the torque got bumped up to 422 newton meters. For the facelifted version of the STi, for the second generation WRX STi, it was limited to 555 units, which was a connection to the team's main sponsor in its WRC endeavors. Speaking of which, Subaru was still enjoying a decent bit of success in the World Rally Championships, with Peter Solberg as their lead driver, who won the driver's title in 2003 and came second in the championship in 2004 behind Sebastian Loeb. That's a pretty impressive motorsport record. Now, in terms of the models themselves, this is another mainline model. I think there is a rally There is a version of this model which is offered with Subaru's Rally livery, but this is again a decent, easier to find variant which has detailings of the roof, the bonnet scoop, the different headlamps, the gold wheels, almost a must for any WRX STi model, I would say. I mean, it also has the STi branding with these racing decals, which kind of still suggests that this is a race prep model. The rakes on this fixed spoiler, not exactly standard STi stuff. Again, the detailing of the shape of the headlamps is very nice. The metal flake paint finish makes it stand out. It's a stripped out two-door version, obviously race prepped, and it even has the little detail of this little roof scoop just above the driver's head. Meanwhile, the bug-eye version I have is a premium Hot Wheels, which has the rubber wheels. Again, great detailing with the gold finish, dark yellow wheels. The detailing of the headlamps, especially the bug-eye headlamps, is particularly impressive and makes this car much more, desirable. This is a gumball livery, so I'm assuming somebody participated in the Gumball 3000 with a similarly decked out WRX STi. If you can't get your hands on the much rarer Subaru liveries, these are definitely worthy alternatives. Again, racing decals with racing numbers, some more decals, some gumball decals, and best of all, the detailing of the headlamps with the Subaru branding. And you can really tell the extra width of the STi in this model. Yeah, it's a really nice model all around. So that's it for the second gen Subaru Impreza WRX. There was another 2006 refresh of the second gen which got Hawkeye headlamps. I do not have a model of that one. The reports reveal that it also got small and notable performance improvements for the STi versions over the years, but nothing too significant. Next up, we have the third gen Subaru Impreza WRX STi, officially shortened to the Subaru WRX STi. This STi version debuted in 2008. It's one of the tamest looking rally Subarus yet, but that has helped this model stand the test of time, wherein one of these would not look terribly out of place on the road compared to a second gen WRX STi. While this generation WRX did get sedan and estate versions, the STi was limited to the hatchback shape to match its WRC contender. Of course, it had the sportier kit, so it had the scoops, the vents, the grills, the arches, everything dialed up a notch, but again, same basic concept. Shortish wheelbase, 4 doors, all-wheel drive, and a boxer engine to boot. Once again, Japanese models had a 2-liter engine, while the export markets get a 2.5-liter unit. The engine names being the EJ207 and the EJ257. The JDM spec had more punch with a twin-scroll turbocharger, producing 308 PS and 422 Newton meters of torque. Of course, there were a host of sub-variants and special editions during this production run, including a standard Cosworth edition variant, which had a lot more performance to offer. Looking at the model itself, it's a shape film fans would recognize from the Fast and Furious series as the shitty silver and black car that Brian O'Connor got as his sort of sub-10 replacement, but it's a pretty capable car if you think about it. This model is again a somewhat of a mainline series. It is part of a special series whose name forgets me, but I'll put it in editing here. So that's why it has these rally-based decals such as Rally El Segundo, some motorsport partnerships like Sparco, Brembo, of course the STi logo. That's the Subaru branding. The grille detailing is pretty good for a almost mainline standard model. Gold wheels, of course, you know that. Racing numbers, Subaru branding each side, and even the rear, the indicated roof spoiler, and this rear skid plate. Not a whole lot of detailing in terms of the tail lamp themselves, but the shape is clearly well defined with the cuts and indents of the metal of the casting. Blue interior also kind of adds to the Subaru branding, right? It's blue on the inside this time. So yeah, again, definitely a value for money model to collect of the WRX of the third gen WRX STi, especially if it's not something you're particularly fond of but just want to have it in your collection. Rounding things off, we have sort of the final version of the WRX STi, which is this one. The sedan came back, production spec 2015 models, and they kind of ditched the Impreza part of it entirely, like that was an entirely separate model, and this was just the Subaru WRX, of which there was a WRX STi version. Like most models, it is so much bigger than the original Subi Imprezas, in terms of being small and short wheel-based cars. The STi still got the standard race-inspired body updates in terms of the hood scoop, the wing, the vents, the widened arches. The standard WRX models got a new FA20F powertrain, which was a new type of 2-liter turbopod, but the STIs retained the EJ engine series. The stock STIs had power up to 300 horsepower, and the torque remained the same. It still got a 6-speed manual, of course, with it being sort of the last of its kind, even though it was introduced in 2015, we're now 7 years on. There were multiple variations and special edition iterations, both for Japanese and US spec markets, so both 2-liter and 2.5-liter engines, which got increased performance, specialized components, tuned suspension, rally-spec 4-wheel drive settings and components, like you name it, and there was a version for it, and then you could soup it up even more. The latest WRX came in 2021, which of course recently got the news there won't be an STi, so this is pretty much the last version of the STi as we know the Subaru to be. This particular Hot Wheels model is from the sort of NFS lineup. Again, I shall insert the exact name and card if I can here, which is why this is sort of the least rally looking WRX I have, but it still has the custom body kit, but movie model. So it has details such as sort of a fixed window with a small hole in it. It has the scoops, it has the wide body, it has the fixed wing, and the overall aggressive, like it even has like the rubberized rally type wheels and white rims, which again very classic rally touch. Overall, the detailing and the finish is quite nice, and like similar to the Gumball one, like the detailing on, especially on the front and rear fascia, right, with the headlamp stickers. Now this one doesn't get actual headlamps like the bug-eyed one, but the stickers are well detailed. The grille is well detailed with the Subaru branding right in the center, and around the back again we get the Subaru logo colored with its star details, the stickers for the tail lamps, the sort of rugged rear bumper with the exhaust sticking out of it. Again, a very fairly detailed spoiler. Yeah, it's a very decent model. This wasn't an India card, so no premiums involved here, just standard MRP pricing and easily worth the money. Subaru has not been part of WRC as a manufacturer since 2009, but it has still been represented by customer teams, especially in other rally formats like rallycross. It has a devoted following for the balance between niche performance and mass appeal. A great all-rounder, it's a desirable and attainable driver's car. It is loved for its motorsports history, what it stands for in terms of the brand and a connection to the audience, while also being a driver-centric model from a Japanese brand that was mainly about reliable family cars. It might be the end of a noisy boxer engine from a Subaru, but we won't be forgetting the legend anytime soon. That's all for this episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you do. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the video or anything you would like to add about the WRX STi. And we'll see you guys next time. Ciao.